say no way. Marijuana's a fast way to fall. You will pay, 'cause it's doing you no good at all. And you know, if you gamble with life, you can lose it. Gotta grow, 'cause your life is a gift, don't abuse it. And you know, if you gamble with life, you can lose it. Gotta grow, 'cause your life is a gift, don't abuse it. A lot of people think that marijuana isn't dangerous, but they're wrong. Because not only does it harm a person's body and mind, but it often leads users to try other, even more dangerous drugs. And you know, if you gamble with life, you can lose it. Gotta grow, 'cause your life is a gift, don't abuse it. And you know, if you gamble with life, you can lose it. Gotta grow, 'cause your life is a gift, don't abuse it. Oh.
That was McGruff. Anybody who's hung around here long enough know that that is my tribute to Grampy Lobster, our late friend. We lost him not too long ago, and this was one of his theme songs, so I will always play McGruff, always. Okay, welcome, you guys. Uh, Thank you for being here, everybody. Gosh, we got 5 people watching so far. Uh, we're gonna greet the chat when I bring, uh, my co-host and our special guest on. I think we should get started. I don't wanna fuck around here. Okay, so first off, my co-host, uh, b Sage Lion of the Desert, Brian, my old friend Brian. I've known him for 30 years, and he's gonna be helping out here, uh, this morning, this afternoon, this evening. I'm gonna say hi to him. Hi, Brian.
Hello, Robin. It's good to see you.
It's good to see you, dear. Long time no see, eh?
It's been a little while. It's been a little while.
It's been a
I
minute.
saw you. I saw you when your health was failing, like a few months ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I'm glad to see you're up and about, doing better.
I'm up and about doing better. God, it was a long haul, I gotta tell you.
It was.
But here we are, and I am so oh God. Okay, we're gonna present Gemma here in a minute. I've been following Gemma for some time, and she and I are sometimes we gang up over at Howie's channel, Howie of the Food Forest Permaculture, a dear, dear, dear man who is, he calls everybody fellow humans, and he's just this sweet human being. But Gemma and I have been on a couple of his panels, and any, I don't think you guys need to know that. I'm going to bring Jenna. Okay, you ready, Brian?
I'm ready.
Okay, here we go. Ready, everybody? Here. Hi, Gemma. Oh
Hey.
dear. Okay,
Hey,
there's
Gemma.
Sorry I caught you
Hello.
unawares.
Hello, hello.
Good to see you, sweetheart.
You'll find good to see you too, and good to see you, Brian. I just had to put my headphones on because my next door neighbours decided to play music, so I had to put my headphones on.
Pesky next door neighbors.
Yeah,
So
unfortunately.
For anybody who might not know who you are, Gemma.
Yeah.
Okay, so you are in the spectrum.
Yes.
In the spectrum, you are autistic.
Yes, I am. Yeah.
And you are a warrior. You're an advocate. You are you step up because you're in the UK.
Yes,
And
I am. Yeah.
from what you have said, services and acknowledgement in the UK doesn't favor women in the spectrum.
No, it doesn't. The UK system, unfortunately, is more catered to men and boys because the stereotype of autism is still presumed to be men and boys. So a lot of females like myself who get late diagnosed don't get official help until we start exhibiting either anxiety, depression behaviour, or we get to a point where it's hospital treatment. And it got to the point where I was getting admitted to hospital with panic attacks before they realised that something was wrong. So
So you were in your 20s before you were diagnosed.
yes, I got diagnosed at the age of 25 in 2014. I'm now nearly 35, so it's been quite a jump.
So that jump into being acknowledged, what was it like the first 25 years for you? Your family situation, your schooling situation, your social situation?
Yeah, so I guess for my family, my mum was always the one that knew something was wrong. Like she knew that I was struggling, and she tried to take me, from what I can understand of it, she tried to take me to the doctors when I was around 4 or 5 years old because I started having problems with my eyesight, which was now we know a trait of autism. And she tried telling the doctors that my daughter doesn't make eye contact. She doesn't like looking at people. I tend to look at the mouth at people, or if I have to look
Yeah.
at people, I tend to look at the side of the face or lip read. So for me, it's a lot easier to lip read people. And people, my mum was like, "This Gemma shouldn't be doing this. Gemma should be able to, have a conversation. She should be able to join in with things." But I couldn't. And then through school, I got severely bullied. I
Oh,
was falling behind in my work. I'd get very upset. And it got to such a point that at school I started making excuses why not to go into school. I would say I was sick. I'd say I'd have a headache. I would say I had a tummy ache. I would
oh,
try and get out of school all the time. My mum's like, enough's enough. You can't be sick all the time. So she got to a point where she made my sister and my cousin walk me to school. And she said, if I hear you've tried to pull a sickie again, I'm not going to be happy.
oh.
And exactly what I would go and do. Lunchtime would come around. I'd go into the nurse's office. Oh, my head hurts. I don't feel well. And they'd ring my mum. My mum's like, oh, here we go again. It's the I'm sick thing. And then it happened nearly every week repeatedly. Mum's like, this is not right. You can't be sick every week. This is ridiculous. So then we went to the doctors, and the doctor said, don't you think she might have some form of panic disorder or anxiety? And my mum was like, well, I don't think so. And then the doctors were like, oh, she's a teenager. I'm sure she'll grow out of it. And then
Oh,
that was
dear.
kind of dropped at that. And then it wasn't till my early teens, late teens, that I started getting more panic attacks. I started getting really anxious.
The hormones.
And I wouldn't go out around big groups of people. If I was out in big groups of people, I'd want to come home. I'd get upset. I would deliberately start crying. I would get the shakes. And people were like, what's wrong with Gemma? Why is she being so weird? Why is she being difficult? And then when I got assessed in 2012 for anxiety disorder, I got diagnosed with that within 6 months. And then
Drugs.
they tried to give me psychoactive medications, which sent me a bit woohoo, loopy.
Yeah.
And then from that, I got referred to mental health services, which that was in early 2013. And in 2014, after 6 months of being assessed, I finally got a diagnosis. So it took about a year and a half in total.
Wow.
Was it quite a relief finding that they finally found a diagnosis that fit?
Yeah, yes and no, because it kind of went from being, originally I was misdiagnosed as being bipolar. I was misdiagnosed as having borderline personality. I was misdiagnosed as having unstable personality disorder. And then the mental health nurse who I saw was like, no, scrap that, that's all wrong. I was like, what do you mean they're all wrong? He goes, you haven't got any mental health issues. He goes, I think you've got something else. And I was like, okay, didn't really understand. He goes, have you heard of autism? I was like, well, yeah, I have, but I had very stereotypical knowledge of it. I kind of said, oh, well, I've seen clips on YouTube where like children headbang and they swear and they shout and and he goes, that's really rude, Gemma. Like, you've just basically stereotyped a lot of people. And I said, oh, well, that's what I kind of knew about it. He goes, not all of them headbang, Gemma. Not all autistic people swear like you think they do. I was like, oh. And he showed me a video of this young autistic girl, and I think she was from somewhere in America, and she showed me this clip, and I sat there, I'm like, I literally wept. I was like, what? And he goes, you're the same as her. And I'm like, huh? And he goes, you're on the spectrum. I'm like, what does spectrum mean? He goes,
right.
I was like, mind blown.
Well, yeah, that would make sense after, not knowing for so long and finally having something that fit. So what were some of the changes or routines that you changed up once you determined you had autism?
Yeah, so with regards to changes, I think I've always been a kind of rigid person. I've always been very aware of my limitations. So for me, I learned to change how I adapted to being out in public. So instead of always having the heightened anxiety, I'd be like, okay, Gemma, this is going to be loud. It might be a crowded environment, but you need to do things to self-calm. So I started taking my fidget spinners with me, or my little sensory bracelets with me, and I would sit there and just fidget with my jewelry a lot of the time.
I love fidget spinners, by the way.
Yeah, I love
cool ones. Aren't they great?
Yeah, so I started using them, and then people were like, why does Gemma do that? Why is she always fidgeting with her hands? Like, why is she always doing stuff? And it got to a point where people were like, Gemma can't keep still. And I'm like, well, no, because it's what's called self-soothing. It's a way to ground myself, to calm my anxieties down. And when I calm myself down, I'm able to go, okay, I'm not feeling too good. I need to calm it. I need to calm down. And once I calm down, I'm like, oh, okay. So that was just one little bit of uncomfortable. And then when I'm back in my comfort zone again, then I'm able to go, I'm good because I'm safe. I know that if I'm at home, I can be in my element. Whereas if I'm outside, then it's like, uh-oh, I've got noise, there's crowds, there's traffic, there's people who have funny smells, there's the footsteps of people, there's the coffee shop noise, and people don't realise how bad that is, because when you're in all that noise for a period of time, and it just builds and builds and builds on me to a point where my head just goes, oh no, got all this noise, don't know what to do. And I get home and it's just bang. I go into complete shutdown because my head just can't take it. So
that's wonderful to be able to have the tools, and that we are in an era now where autism is being looked at, and we're able to, instead of just putting them, I've taught special ed. We were discussing that, and we could discuss that again, the labels, but I taught special ed years ago where we were just starting to crest with autism. And I worked at a school, and it had a little boy. He was great, but boy, he was just so wound, just banging his head against stucco and hitting himself and punching himself in the jaw. And it was a special school, so luckily they had a one-on-one, be able to work with him and guide him. But I can imagine that being anywhere on that spectrum, on the spectrum, and not having that sort of guidance, being young, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 would be just, I can't even imagine how it would feel inside, feeling like you just can't be understood.
Yeah, this is the thing. Yeah, with regards to females, it's been very hard because a lot of people assume that because I'm so functional, as people put it, that I am so capable of being on my own. it takes hard work because I have to constantly every day battle noise or smell or
Right.
a taste, or like clothing is a big one for me. Picking what I'm
Really?
going to wear every day is one of the biggest triggers. And people are, oh, it's just clothes. It shouldn't be a big deal. And it's like, well, yes, because you've got the texture of the clothing, you've got the
Yep.
pattern, you've got the
Yeah.
material, you've got the labels in the back that I have to cut out because the
Oh,
label
me too.
Mhm.
scratches me. It makes me feel itchy, and people are like,
Even the seams along the shoulders and everything. For me, that drives me batty.
yeah, I can't stand anything with seams in, so I buy everything that has no seams in. I can help it.
Yeah, you know what? You okay, what I'm observing and what I have learned is that people in the spectrum are so hyper aware of all the details that many of the quote normies miss, and they just brush off and they just get along. But your hypersensitivity and your hyper awareness and your vigilance, everything has a meaning and everything has an effect. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, like you said, even selecting clothing. Okay, when you go through your closet, do you just like shove the hangers and look at things one at a time and see how it feels that day?
yeah, this is the thing. So like today, I had 3 or 4 different outfits out because I wasn't sure about what I was going to wear, about if I was going to get too hot, if I was going to be too cold, if I was going to be itchy, if I was going to be aggravated. So I was up, down, taking different items
Oh,
off, going, no, that's annoying. No, that's itchy. No, I'm too hot. Now I'm too cold. Then I'm hot again. I'm like, oh. So I was like, okay, you're down to 2 outfits now, Gemma. Is it this one or is it this one? So I had to choose. I was like, right, that one, done. Put the other one back away in the wardrobe, slam the door. I'm like, done.
decision.
Yeah. So it aggravates me.
I can imagine. The first thing I do when I go shopping, I feel the fabric first, and if it doesn't feel good and soft, then I'm like, next.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get you there. One of the biggest what popped into my mind when you were talking about living your life as an adult woman with autism is that these are called invisible disabilities.
Oh, yeah.
And so, and with what I did teaching, every day it was somebody saying, "Oh, they're just being lazy. Oh, they just don't care. Oh, they're just making up excuses." Right? Yeah, I'm sure you've heard all these. And I'm like, no, no. You see John over there who had his leg amputated, and you go, "Oh yeah, he can't run the mile." Right? But then you
Yeah.
have somebody over there, you're like, okay, he can't run the mile because he's inundated with sensory input. They're like, nah, he's just faking it. He's just faking it. Yeah, there were plenty of times in my advocacy where I had to really step up, and it's daunting, and it's what's the word? Invalidating.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that it's easy to like dismiss people if you don't understand it, and you don't get the concept. Okay, dismiss. That's so wrong to dismiss people, other humans who might have a struggle, might be different from you. Grow up, folks. Um, yeah, the human race is just so varied and has so many flavors. And I'm so glad we're at the point where it's changed and it's going to keep changing. And yeah, okay, Gemma, I
Yeah.
noticed on your channel, and you guys, all the links are in the description of the channel for whoever is watching. D you Gemma, you talked about food
Yes.
I noticed that you had a podcast about food, and I did not get to watch it. What is the issue with food?
Okay, so there's 2 parts. for me, people on the autistic spectrum, especially for me, the first thing for me is the smell. Smell is a big one for food, because a lot of people think, oh, Gemma, it's just a smell, deal. Like, it's just a smell. And I'm like, no, because you've got sour smell, you've got a high scent smell, you've got a low scent smell, you've got the texture of the food as well. So not only I have to check my food if it's lumpy or if it has hidden vegetables in, because sometimes my parents in the past, to try and get me to eat more vegetables, would blend my food up, and I would notice, because I was very observant. I would be able to eat it, and then I'd grit it through my teeth and be like, and I could feel like a pea or something in my teeth. I'm like, what the hell is this? And I literally would pull it out my mouth and go, that's disgusting. Like, why would you make me eat that? And my mum's like, oh, I didn't think you'd notice. I'm like, it's texture. Of course I'm going to notice. It's in my mouth. Like, of course it's so silly. And people,
I'm curious, what sort of textures, smells and the like do you really enjoy compared to the lumpy, bumpy? What do you really enjoy?
So my favorite food I do eat a lot of is pasta. I love a lot of pasta dishes.
No surprises.
I eat a lot of things that are bland, beige food, because I know it's safe. I know that it's not gonna freak me out if I don't like it. So I tend to eat a lot of pasta. I tend to eat a lot of fish, things like haddock, cod, things that I know are not going to be too spicy or too wet, because again, I am very texture based. I don't like things that are too textured. And people are like, oh, Gemma, you're just being a spoiled brat. Just grow up, try. And I'm like,
oh, screw them.
And I'm like, no, I can't, because once I get into a certain mindset and I have certain textures I know are good for me, I'm like, well, that's safe, that's safe, that's safe. I'll just buy lots of the same food. So like today, when my food shopping came this morning and the delivery man laughed at me, he looked at me, looks up and down at me like this. I'm like, what's the problem? And he goes, my God, I've never seen one person with that much of the same food. He goes, your diet must suck. And I'm like, sucks for you. I'm
That's
like,
right,
sucks for you? I'm like, it doesn't suck for me, And he goes, don't you get bored? I'm like, no, why would I? Like,
it's familiar stuff that you appreciate and consume. Okay, what about like soups? Like, I make a great potato broccoli cheese soup. How do you feel about soups?
Soups are more better for me because it's more liquid based, so I can eat it like it's a drink. I can just tip my head back and let it go down. Whereas I'm more sensitive to lumpy food, so it'd be things that have lumps in that really. So things like mashed potato, can't do it. Tried it. I've tried multiple times, can't do it. I've tried it and can't do it. And my parents go mad because when it comes to what we call our Sunday roast dinner here on a Sunday, my mum would say, oh, we've got mashed potato, and she said, oh no, not for Gemma. Gemma has to have hers roasted. So if I have roasted, so if my potatoes are roasted, I'm good. I can eat them all day long. But if it's mashed, no.
No. Okay, I get it. Okay, so what about fried potatoes?
Yeah, roasted, fried. Yeah, hash browns I can do fine. That's because it's crispy. Anything that's like that, I'm good. But if you say
mashed potatoes are lumpy and have the bumps, and they're not always consistent. I get it. Yeah.
Yeah, and my mum, dad always say to me, "Oh, Gemma, can't you just try? Like, come on. Like, what about if we put it on a separate plate? Will you try it with some veggies?" And I'm like, "No, can't. I just can't do it."
Well, okay, Gemma. So how about sweeties and ice cream?
Oh, that's a different story. I love my ice cream. I'm a big ice cream girl. I love my vanilla ice cream. I love having my strawberry sauce on it. I just had some ice cream delivered today, and the delivery driver goes, you order the same ice cream every couple of weeks I come to you, because I always usually have the same delivery driver. He goes, don't you get bored? I'm like, give me my ice cream. I'm like, I'm good. He's like, yes, it's the same ice cream. I'm like, and
Good answer. What's the point? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, that's fantastic.
I eat a lot of vanilla ice cream. I love it. I could eat bowlfuls of the stuff. I love it. I love ice cream.
I love French vanilla ice cream with chocolate syrup.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
And sometimes a little whipped cream on top.
Yeah, whipped cream's good.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, Gemma. Prior to when did you start living independently?
Oh gosh, I've been here in my own apartment 9 years this February.
9 years, so a year after you were diagnosed.
Yes, so I moved in here in 2015. Middle 2015. I moved in here, so it was pretty much I moved out from being with my dad, and then all of a sudden it was moved in to be on my own, and it was a big jump because I wasn't sure if I wanted to live on my own. And my dad was like, well, one day, Gemma, you're going to have to. Like, I'm not going to be here forever. You're going to have to start being an adult. So it was hard. I kept fighting him for ages. I was like, I don't want to live on my own. Nope, not doing that. I don't want to. My dad's like, I don't care what you want. He goes, you're going to have to try. And I moved in here in 2015. And the first month or so, I cried every day. I phoned my dad up. I hated it. I was like, you made me do this. You're evil. And you forced me into this. My dad's like, Gemma, he goes, but look at what you've done. He goes, look at how bad you depend on me before. He goes, now you live on your own. You know, I'm able to be doing what I want. If I want to go home, I can. I don't have to think, oh, I'm going to be stuck at my dad's house, or I have to live at my dad's. So being here, I'm able to go, oh, if I want to get away from my dad, or get away from my sister, or get away from noise, I can go, right, I'm going home, shut the door, and that's that. I can just be on my own.
So it had its definite perks, even during your struggle.
Yeah, absolutely. Living on your own is a really good thing if you can do it, but I'm aware some people, with autism can't, because it is a very, very sensory thing. It can be very, very physically overwhelming. It took me probably the first year to get used to it, because I had to constantly learn how to budget my money. I had to learn how to pay bills. I had to learn how to clean and look after myself. And it got to a point where I got so overwhelmed one day. I was like, why am I doing this? Why did I put pressure on myself? What the hell? I'm nuts. Like, what? And then I was like, well, actually, Gemma, hold on, because you've gone from being at my dad's for the last 4 or 5 years, so I moved into my apartment. And I'm like, Gemma, you pay your own bills, you've got your own money, you look after yourself, you can go out when you want, you can come home when you want, you've got no restrictions.
Yeah.
Whereas now I do everything myself. So
I need to learn that. I think I should learn to pay my own bills. And you think it's time for me to learn?
Yeah.
I think my wife likes doing it too much. I don't want to mess with her. I'll let her keep doing it.
Yeah. So, Gemma, look at you now. Just look at you now. I am so proud of you, and you're not even my kid. You have come so far, and you have used your time during this. You haven't laid back and just felt sorry for yourself and just closed up. You are out there. You're an activist. You're an advocate. And boy, your voice is getting stronger and stronger out there in the autism community. Gosh, honey, look what you've done.
Yeah, I do it because it's the right thing to do, and also for other people, because I know there is a lot of us out here that don't do the video content that I do. There's a lot of autistic people who will never ever be on YouTube because they know full well they can't do it, or the fact that they can't communicate as verbally as I can. I understand that because it is scary. Being on a platform like this, you have so many people who may make fun of you or don't understand what autism is. And I've had my ups and downs. There's been times where I've wanted to shut down my channel, but on the hindsight, I haven't, because I've learned to be myself, and I've met some incredible people such as yourself, Robin, and Howie, and
Thanks.
a few other people. You know, I've learned to advocate for myself in a more wide environment, and it's been the best thing for me because I've learned to help people when social media is hard. You know, don't be wrong, it's a hard thing, but I'm here to help people, and hopefully I've made that change for some people. So
I think it's extremely, I don't want to use the word commendable, but I think it's really neat because you represent a subsection of society that is normally so ignored. But if I had autism and I felt alone and sheltered, and seeing you represent the community, I would be really excited. Even if I could not go on the video myself, knowing you're there is really exciting.
Yeah, I think it takes time. You know, when I first came onto YouTube, it was I did a lot of behind the camera stuff. I didn't show my face for like the first 6 months of my channel. I was like, nope, not showing my face. Don't want to. I'm not interested in being on camera. Don't want to do it. And then I got a message from an autistic person who said, "Oh, when you get to your 1,000 subs, will you show your face?" I said, "Well, if I get there, I might. I don't know if." And so, within like the first year of my YouTube, I hit 1,000, and then the girl emailed me back. She goes, "You're on 1,000 now, Gemma." I'm like, "Oh no." So I did like the first stream where I came onto my YouTube channel. She said, "You have to show your face, turn your camera on." I'm like, "Fine, okay." And then just from there, I've just continued to be on camera the whole time. So
good on you. Good on you.
And speaking of Howie, he's in our chat. Food Forest Permaculture. Howie, hi Howie.
Hey Sunshine, how you doing?
Yeah,
hi Howie. I'll call you Sunshine later.
Howie is our good friend. Food Forest Permaculture. You guys, if you haven't subscribed to Howie, please do it. This is an earthling who grows food, advocates for growing food, and being at one with the earth. And Gemma and I have been over on Howie's streams. We've been on panels, and he is one of the best men I know. Well, Bryan too, but yeah, welcome, Howie. Hey,
Howie's definitely of acknowledgement. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Okay. So, Mahash Trahash. Okay, found your link, Mahash Trahash, over there in the chat. Wanted to know if you had a channel. They found it.
Okay.
Yeah. So, continuing on. Okay, Gemma, what is coming up?
Yeah.
With you. Do you have anything planned?
Yes, I've got a couple of videos written down here that I was looking through earlier. A lot of people don't seem to understand about the spectrum and potentially being vulnerable, because a lot of autistic people are vulnerable. There is comorbidities that come alongside autism. Like for me, I have clinical anxiety disorder, and I also have sensory processing disorder, which basically means that my brain is 6 seconds behind the neurotypical brain, and I struggle to process certain bits of information. And people are like, "Well, you don't appear to be struggling." I'm like, right now I'm sitting here in my head going, okay, I've got all this stuff rubbish in my head. I'm having to go, no, don't listen to this stupid thing up here. I'm having to tune all that out and listen to what you and Brian say. So I'm like, shush, Gemma, shut up, Gemma. I'm having to block out the negative stuff up here and go, no, listen to what's in here. So I'm having to tune out everything so I can focus.
Yeah, that's interesting because whatever goes on in your brain also goes on in your body.
Yeah.
And I'm there's this mind body connection going on. Does it affect you physically?
Yes, if when I've been doing streams or panels with people that you've probably seen, Robin, sometimes it gets to a point where I get so overstimulated with a certain topic, or there'll be someone else will come on the panel and they'll start talking about topics that I have no idea about, or doesn't involve me, or there'll be big words being said, and all of a sudden I'm like, nope, can't, boom, gone, and people are like, oh, Gemma's having a temper tantrum.
Oh,
No, I've had to go because my brain just goes, no, Gemma, if you don't go now, I'm going to say something inappropriate and not a good idea. So I disappear.
yeah, you know what? Never be afraid of saying anything inappropriate.
No.
I do that stuff all the time. Okay.
Now, Gemma, I'm a hypnotist by trade now. I do hypnosis.
Okay.
And what I found, I've had a few autistic clients, and they're my favorite because what I get from them is what they want to do. Once we go into the subconscious mind, I just tell them, and boom, they're like, "Oh, that's it. Okay." I had one young guy. His cell phones. He said that the numbers rattled. This was when the flip phones were out, not the smartphones, and it just drove him nuts. He had to return it all the time. And when we went under, we discussed before. I said, there's supposed to be a little give in those numbers, in those buttons. And he said, "Oh, so I don't need to worry about that then." Nope, we were done. It was great, and I think there's some, the processing is that. It's very admirable and interesting that it kind of cuts through all the BS.
Yeah.
You get right to the point. And then, so yeah, for my money, I'll take autistic folks any day for my hypnosis.
Because they get it sooner than anybody else.
Yeah, it's the structure. This is another thing that people don't get about me. I am a very structured, routine person. If you tell me something's going to happen, and you explain it to me step by step. So, for instance, if I was to ever have a hypnosis session with someone or go to some form of therapy and they say, okay, Gemma, this is step one of what we're going to do. I need to know your background. I want to know about who you are. Then the next session, we're going to talk about treatment plans. Next session, we're going to talk about counseling or whatnot. And then if you explain to me, go, okay, session one's this, session two's this, session three's this. Okay, it's routine, it's structure. If you give it to me direct and say 1, 2, 3, that's going to happen, cool. I can get that because you've told me, okay, 1, 2, 3, this is going to happen. I get it. And I'm like, oh, instructions, good.
Right.
Because I can
very direct instruction too.
Yeah.
With hypnosis, we use metaphor sometimes, but I don't use metaphor with my autistic clients. For them, it's very direct instruction.
Yeah.
Now, Gemma, on another note, I watched some of your videos, and I used to be a sign language interpreter as well. And I noticed you struggle with that. And I've noticed that you and I have a lot in common, except for one thing. I saw on the back of yours, there was a Pepsi.
Yeah.
I'm a diet. I mean, I'll forgive you, but
I'm a Diet Pepsi girl myself. Got my Diet Pepsi in my car.
Oh no! I was like, shit, I have a lot in common. Wait a minute. She's a
That's too funny. Oh wait, Callie Boss is in the chat. Hi, Callie Boss.
Hey, Myers.
Okay, Mahash Trahash has a question. Are they even in a trance? Okay, Mahash, Trahash. Okay, being in a trance. Okay, in regard to hypnosis, and I think Brian might agree with me. You still have choices. You're not enslaved. You still
Right.
have choices.
Yeah.
It's you have to agree to it.
Well, and I think Mahash is probably referring to my autistic clients. And I would say, yes, they are in a trance, but the
They're
trance
still
that
in control.
well, that's beside, I think we're just talking
Sorry.
about the level, because my non-autistic clients can go, we'd say deeper. We'll just use that, deeper. But my autistic clients don't need to go so deep. It's kind of in a
Because they get it.
superficial level, and everybody is able to interact under hypnosis. You have full control. And I run through all that with my clients. And I think that's what makes it more comfortable too. But I think compared to other clients, they're not as deep. I don't think they need to be as deep. And, but once you're under, technically you're under. So, and usually the needs are very, they're not real emotionally fraught issues that I deal with my hypnosis or with my autistic clients. But that's a really good question. I didn't even consider that. So yes and no.
So yes and no. Yeah. Cali Boss says he's in a trance as we speak.
That makes sense, actually, not to take away from Gemma's time, but we all go into trances throughout the day. We slip right into them. And especially with my personality, I can really make people go into a trance.
Oh no shit!
I think for me, like sometimes when I fixate onto my special interests that I have, I can go into kind of a trance myself. I get so deep into the knowledge of a particular area that I'm fascinated with. Like for me, one of my main interests, obsessions, is my Buffy collection.
Oh, okay, Gemma.
Yeah.
You are a Buffy fan and you are also an Elvis fan.
Yes, I am. Yeah.
I think of everyone I know in the whole world, my whole lifetime, you are an Elvis fan beyond. You know everything about Elvis. I love that so much. And in a chat one time, I asked you if you had a velvet Elvis.
Oh,
yes,
the painting?
you did. Yeah.
And do you?
I don't have one, but I'm getting one. Yeah. I've got many Elvis items. I have a big storage box on my floor, which is the other side of my bedroom. But I have sequin jackets. I've got multiple Elvis books. I've got pair of. Oh, actually, I can show you one of my items. This is the latest purchase that I got off a Elvis Presley eBay store. I've had this bag for about a month, and it's
look at that.
Literally has Elvis faces everywhere on it. So that's my latest piece that I brought off eBay. So
that is so cool. You know what?
We need to get you to Graceland.
Yeah, that's my one of my bucket list things. I want to go to Graceland so badly. I need to get myself over to the States.
Okay, so perhaps a GoFundMe to get Gemma to Graceland might be in the works in the future.
Yes,
she's going to need a guide, someone to help her when she gets here, so you can GoFundMe to do that with her.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Let's go.
Yeah, and you know what? The thing about Elvis is, there's all the hype. He had the glitter and the glam and the Las Vegas thing.
Yeah.
Stuff. Elvis had almost an operatic voice.
Yeah.
He could sing. And, if anybody had his Christmas album, and then that one, wise men say, he had this wonderful, wonderful voice. He was a good singer, y'all. And he was But then the glitz and the glamour took over, and so I don't think he was acknowledged as much for his singing ability, as he was for the glitz. I'm so sorry
Yeah.
about that. He was good.
I think there's other aspects to Elvis that people don't know. And after watching the recent movie a few times, I suspect, I'm not saying he was or he is 100%, but I believe Elvis was on the spectrum because there's several
Ah,
reasons I've noticed in the film. Because when you see him interacting with the crowd after he performs at a concert, he's very head down. He doesn't look at anyone. He's very
yeah.
much go away. He wanted to be with his wife. He didn't want to be with people. He was very much about being a private man. And I think a lot of people mistwisted that as, oh, he loves it. He loves the crowd. He loves the ladies. He loved being the center of
Uh,
attention. No, he didn't. If you actually read books about him and read about Graceland, he was a very private man. He didn't like being in the limelight. He wanted to be the husband, the family man. He hated being in the spotlight. He didn't like it at all.
but he did embrace it because he realized that that was what made his living. And I
Yeah.
remember a statement he made. I don't know what's happening to me, but I hope it never ends. He didn't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
He gave away Cadillacs to strangers, and he was just sort of flailing out there while being a success. That makes sense, Gemma.
Yeah, I think also with his overwhelm as well, the way that he presented himself with his performances and how he acted afterwards, to me, there's clear indications that he was somewhat on the spectrum. And I think if we go back in time now and Elvis was still here, I think right now he would have had a diagnosis because he was
Uh,
very anxious. He was very
Mhm.
short, direct, blunt with people. And even people now that I've read on Elvis forums, they say, oh, well, if you would have met Elvis back in the day, Gemma, he was very blunt. He was very rude. He was very like, get out my way. And
uh,
I love that because we need more people like that. We need people to be honest and tell the truth because unfortunately now people don't.
yeah. How are you feeling right now? Well, I'm going to tell you. It wasn't fake. There was nothing fake about Elvis. He just hung out there. He wasn't a Kardashian. He didn't do things for show. He didn't put out press releases that were nonsense. He was just him. Um,
Yeah,
Gosh, that's so interesting. Elvis maybe being on the spectrum. That's
and
interesting.
I can I can also show you once I find where it's gone.
I love you're digging. What are you digging for? I love this.
My
What?
Elvis lanyard for my door
Lanyard.
keys. I have a Elvis lanyard that has Elvis faces on it that has all my
Great.
door keys on. So I have that. And I also have my Elvis wallet. That's what I was looking for. It's hidden in my door keys. It's all twisted up. Oops, now I'm getting twisted in my
You
head.
don't want to lose your Elvis wallet.
So put that down there. This is one of my latest little purchases that I bought from the Graceland store
Oh, look at that.
online. My little pink Cadillac Elvis wallet.
Oh,
And it
Gemma,
has
you
the
need to go to
Graceland building
Graceland.
on the back. So yeah, oh hell
Wonderful.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Lord, lordy, lordy.
speaking of celebrities with autism, there are a lot, you know, any more that we're aware of. And how does that? Isn't it nice to see them succeeding?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I actually did a video. I
Yeah.
think it was like 4 or 5 days ago. I did a video about celebrities and autism, and people commented on it. They're like, "Oh, Gemma, are you sure these people are on spectrum?" I'm like, I research everything. Like, I literally go
Right.
through websites and I go through medical files. I'll go through doctors' offices, and I literally will research everything so I have it backed up. And people are like, no way, that person's not. No way, that person can't be. And I'm like, yes, they are. Like,
Right.
I've literally researched everything. So it helps because, it gives me someone to look up to. I'm like, oh, well, if that person is, I am. If they're succeeding, then why can't I? So
Right.
it gives me someone to look up to. So
Well, I think what you're doing is giving other people that as well, saying, "Hey, if she can do it, we can do it."
absolutely,
So
oh
I
yeah,
think that's awesome. What a great mentor.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So
What?
I have some more Elvis stuff here to show you. Like my
Yeah.
Elvis obsession. I've got this is my Elvis diary from 2022,
Mhm.
and then this is my Elvis diary for this year. So I've literally bought these from the Greystand store as well. So they're just little day-to-day diaries. So
Is that going to be your whole apartment, your whole flat? Is it just going to be Elvis everywhere?
pretty much.
I,
Literally, like they have the official Greystand stickers on the back. So they've all got the
Perfect.
little logos on the back. So yeah.
God, I love that so much. I love that so much. God, wow. Okay. So you guys, we've been on for almost an hour. Oh, hey, God, we can continue forever. But Gemma,
Yes.
if we sort of start leading into final thoughts, would you have anything to say?
Yeah, I think the one thing I would say to your audience or to anyone that's listening to this is don't judge one person that you've met who has autism that we're all the same, because I get told this all the time. When you meet one person with autism, we're not the same. We're all different. We have different
Yeah.
needs with different levels. Like I may be what people call high functioning, but again, you don't know my struggle after this stream. You might see a different Gemma. I can be chatty, and happy now, and then I may have a trigger a few moments after the stream, and then all of a sudden you get the Gemma who's tired, anxious, upset, angry, and then people go, "Whoa, well, you were fine a minute ago," and then a few minutes down the line, I can be like, "Leave me alone! Don't talk to me! Don't touch me! Leave me alone." People are like, "Whoa, what the hell?" And I'm like, so just be very aware that we're not all the same people, that I may be able to cope now, but you might see me on another stream or on my own video, you might think, hold on a minute, Gemma was fine earlier and now she seemed different. So you have to be very careful what you say.
Yeah, yeah. I am a member of a group. Uh, there's a young gentleman and his mom and dad. It's called Cody Speaks. Cody Speaks. He was not verbal until he was 9 years old,
Oh,
and
wow.
he was diagnosed. He'll forever be nonverbal, but at 9 years old, he became verbal, and he is 22 now, and the journey has been amazing, especially his devoted family. God bless them. I'm not religious, but bless them for understanding and coping and, well, not coping, but living life with this child.
Yeah.
Cody Speaks, you guys, if you haven't encountered Cody Speaks, check out the process and his story. And yeah, Gemma, there are so many different levels in the spectrum, and you know,
Yes.
there are so many flavors and so many ways of living and ways of being human, that
Yeah.
we're all doing our own ways of being human. All of us. But this is
Yeah.
just a special segment of folks that have been ignored and sort of derided and stuff. So, yeah, anybody who's watching, check it out. Embrace your fellows and look at what they're doing. We all live on this planet. Um, and it doesn't hurt, wouldn't hurt you to acknowledge and accept people who might be a little different from you.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. We all have differences, we're all diverse in some way or other. We've all got different
Yeah.
abilities, we've all got different temperaments. Like, I'm very calm a lot of the time, but what you see here is what I'm like most of the time. I'm very calm, but there's days where Robin has seen me on like Howie's panel, and someone has said something to trigger me, and I fly
Yeah.
off the handle. I'm like, yeah, and then people are like, whoa. Like, I literally will fly off the handle. If someone triggers me, then I just go boom, I lose it, and then people are like, uh-oh, Gemma's not very happy. I'm like, well, yeah, because you've pushed me, and when I get pushed, I don't think about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, Agent X, good to see you, my friend.
Okay, okay, let's greet our chat. We haven't greeted the chat yet. Usually we do it first. Okay, Corey McAfee, Corey's over there. Jonacide is over there, or he was. Okay, I'm scrolling down. Mahash Trahash, thank you for being here. Food Forest Permaculture, Howie, we've already acknowledged you. Who else? I'm scrolling. Myers Paranormal, it is over in there. Hi, thanks for being here. I'm
I feel
scrolling
like this
down.
is romper room. Where's my
I
big
exact magic mirror. Tell me today.
romper stomper?
Romper, stomper, bomber, boo.
Yeah.
Yeah, Agent X. Agent X is over there saying hi,
Yeah,
Gemma.
she's my good buddy. Hey, Agent X, good to see you. She's
Hi.
a good buddy.
So, starting to conclude here, Brian, do you have any final thoughts?
No, I just want to thank you, Gemma, and thank you for your representation and being willing to come on and talk about it. I'm sure I will have 1,000 more questions once we end it.
Yeah,
But I
definitely.
would love to, get on line with you again sometime, and
Absolutely, yeah.
we can do a podcast on Buffy because I have not seen one episode.
Oh,
Here's your education coming up,
you
Brian.
you need to go on to a streaming service, or if you can get I've got the DVD box set, and I watch it. I would suggest, if you are going to watch Buffy, I would break it down into segments, because the episodes are 45 minutes long a piece. So
Yeah,
you need to have.
can't really binge that.
sections up.
Yeah, I've been giving up my life for 3 months just to binge it. But yeah, no, I do. Firefly, though. Have you seen Firefly?
Yes, I have. I know Firefly. Yeah.
Yeah, love Firefly. Never seen Buffy. I'll have to catch up, and then we can chat about it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I'll quiz you on it.
Uh-oh. And then I want to thank everybody watching. Thanks for coming in. I really appreciate Robin inviting me to co-host with her today. So this has been pretty exciting.
Definitely.
It has been, and I hope we can do this again. I feel like we've only scratched the surface here. So I hope the three of us get together in the future
Absolutely.
to do more. Okay, Gemma, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for having me.
Oh, you are my heart, dear. Brian, also my heart, Okay, so I think we're gonna end this. Oh, wait. Agent X says, great Van Gogh painting, Brian.
Absolutely.
Van Gogh was autistic?
Yes, he was. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was confirmed a few years ago, because someone leaked his private diary online, and he wrote on one of his diaries that he was a severe social autistic, is what he put it, and it was leaked
Interesting.
online.
Yeah, I never knew that. Thank you, Agent.
Yeah, he was definitely autistic.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
Well, I mean, I meant to put that up in honor of Gemma. Yeah, I put that up for her.
Well,
thank you, Corey.
Yeah, you guys. Okay, I think we're gonna tie this off. You guys, thank you so much. I look forward to us doing this again. And so, Gemma and Brian, I'm going to end the stream, but hang out after if you
Yeah.
want to dish.
Yeah.
Okay, so don't blank yourself out after we end. Everybody in the chat, I love every damn one of you. Thank you for showing up. And I think we're going to end this up, and I'm going to end this with a Grampy Lobster thing. Okay, again, thank you. I'll see you guys backstage. And here's McGruff.
Learn a lesson so true. There's danger in inhalants. They can break you in two. So never sniff inhalants. Breathing them is really no thrill. Don't you know inhalants really can kill?
Don't do inhalants.
You'll be suffering pain.
Don't do inhalants.
They will damage your brain.
Don't do inhalants.
'Cause it's really insane.
Smart kids say no.
'Cause inhalants kill. Learn a lesson so true. There's danger in inhalants. They can break you in two. So never sniff inhalants. Breathing them is really no thrill. Don't you know inhalants really can kill?
Don't do inhalants.
You'll be suffering pain.
Don't do inhalants.
They will damage your brain.
Don't do inhalants.
'Cause it's really insane.
Smart kids say no.
'Cause inhalants kill. Just because something is safe to use one way doesn't mean it's safe to use another way. Cleaners, sprays, and other household chemicals can become deadly poisons when inhaled. Don't ever try it. Just say no to inhalants. Breathing them is really no thrill. Don't you know inhalants really can kill?
Don't do inhalants.
You'll be suffering pain.
Don't do inhalants.
They will damage your brain.
Don't do inhalants.
'Cause it's really insane.
Smart kids say no.
'Cause inhalants kill.
Don't do inhalants.
You'll be suffering pain.
Don't do inhalants.
They will damage your brain.
Don't do inhalants.
'Cause it's really insane.
Smart kids say no.
'Cause inhalants kill. Don't do inhalants. Don't do inhalants. Don't do inhalants. Don't do inhalants.
They will mess up your brain. Don't do inhalants. They will drive you
Da-da-da-da-da.
crazy. Don't do inhalants.